South Louisiana Quiz Bowl Online is made possible by the generous support of these sponsors. MC Bank, sharing the hometown spirit since 1955. Lapco Manufacturing, modern industrial workwear. Barker Honda, Martin Luther King Boulevard in Houma. It's better at Barker. Houma Paint and Industrial Supply, proud supporter of education in the Bayou region. DHD Offshore Services, personnel for inshore and offshore projects. DHD, a workforce that soars. Hello and thanks for joining us again for South Louisiana Quiz Bowl. Today we get into the junior high quarterfinals of our tournament. Larose-Cut taking on Houma with a spot in the semifinals on the line. Good luck to both teams. Let's get to rapid fire round, and we're dealing with people, places, or things that end with the letters G-O. So there's a go at the end. Good luck. Argentina is the home of this sultry dance. John Ryan.
Tango.
That's right. The first name of the explorer Vespucci, for whom America is named. Hayden.
America.
That's right. It's a pair of tuned drums played with the hands. Preston.
Tongo.
No, bongo. For Sigmund Freud, this was the rational part of the mind. John Ryan.
Montago.
No, ego. There was a farmer had a dog. Hayden.
Bingo.
That's right. A pink tropical bird, a plastic one. Preston.
Flamingo.
That's right. This blue dye was one of the most valuable crops. Lane.
Indigo.
That's right. The ship that took Jason and the Argonauts to find John Ryan.
Cargo.
No, Argo. Richard Starkey was his real name. John Ryan.
Ringo.
Ringo Starr is correct. The capital of the Dominican Republic. Lane.
Congo.
No, Santo Domingo. It's Latin for therefore, hence, or consequently. That is ergo, and that's the end of the round. Let's take a moment and let the players introduce themselves. We'll start with LCO.
My name is Hayden Terrebonne. I'm in the 8th grade, and besides Quiz Bowl, I do band and robotics.
My name is John Ryan Danas, and besides Quiz Bowl, I do band and Give Kids the World.
My name is Preston Nguyen, and besides Quiz Bowl, I do basketball and baseball.
My name is Silas St. Pierre. I'm in 6th grade, and besides Quiz Bowl, I do in robotics, beta, and tag.
John Ryan is the team captain. Tell us about Larose-Cut.
Larose-Cut Middle School is along Bayou Lafourche and is one of the largest middle schools in the parish. At LCOMS, we are creating a community where curriculum, instruction, and culture drive student success. We want to thank Mr. Chris Hunter at KWBG for inviting us today, and our principal and vice principal, Ms. Celeste Bro and Ms. Christy Otan. Thank you to the parents and teachers who support our Quiz Bowl team. Go Bulldogs.
Thank you, John Ryan. Thank you to the faculty sponsor, Ms. Cameron Martin. Let's welcome back Larose-Cut Middle School. Let's meet the players for Houma.
Hello, my name is Bryn Winninger, and besides Quiz Bowl, I'm in band.
Hello, my name is Layden Livis, and besides Quiz Bowl, I do band.
Hey, my name is Gabe, and I'm in 8th grade, and other than Quiz Bowl, I do cross country and track.
Hi, my name is Lane Lappers, and besides Quiz Bowl, I like to make things.
Let's hear more about Houma from team captain Layden Livis.
Houma Junior High, located on the banks of Bayou Terrebonne, is Terrebonne Parish's oldest junior high school, serving approximately 650 students in the 7th and 8th grades, providing the highest quality education to prepare every student for academic success. Houma Junior High provides several academic and extracurricular opportunities to its students. We would like to thank Principal Terrace LeBlanc, Vice Principals Kanika Smith and Justin Ward, sponsors Jeremy Zerain, Chris Hunter, and KWBJ for allowing us to participate in this tournament.
Thank you, Layden. Thank you to the faculty sponsor, Mr. Jeremy Zerang. Let's welcome back Houma Junior High. All right, we continue with the toss-up bonus round. We start with a 2-point toss-up. In geology, it is a rock consisting of pebbles and gravel embedded. Brennan?
Sediment?
No, sorry. Pebbles and gravel embedded.
Sedimentary.
Sorry, Houma, you're out of the question already.
Sand?
No, we were looking for conglomerate. 2-point toss-up. Homer's Odyssey may best be described as the story of which of the following? Friendship, courage, freedom, or cowardice? John Ryan.
Friendship.
That's incorrect. Houma?
Courage.
Layden. It is courage. And we have a bonus for Houma. You should answer these questions about the human body. What is the largest gland in the human body?
Liver.
That's correct. In what soft, fatty tissue inside bones are most new blood cells made?
Marrow.
That's correct. What vitamin does our skin make when it's exposed directly to sunlight?
Iron.
That's incorrect. LCO?
Vitamin D.
That's correct. 4 for Houma, 2 for LCO. We'll go to a 2-point toss-up. Let's try some large chunks of history. Place these 4 men in chronological order. Marcus Aurelius, Cyrus the Great, Marco Polo, Attila the Hun. Marcus Aurelius, Cyrus the Great, Marco Polo, Attila the Hun. Anyone? Layton.
Attila the Hun, Cyrus, Marco Polo, and Mark.
That's incorrect. LCO? Wait, John Ryan?
Attila the Hun, Cyrus the Great, Marco Polo, and the last one.
No, in order they would be Cyrus, Marcus Aurelius, Attila, and Marco Polo. 2-point toss-up. The political group opposed to Lincoln's moderate policies was called what? Silas?
The Confederacy?
No, sorry. Houma? Layton?
Republicans.
More specific.
Democratic Republicans.
No, they were radical Republicans. 2-point toss-up. Who devised the vaccine against rabies? John Ryan?
Charles Darwin.
That's incorrect. It was Louis Pasteur. In 1845, the largest city in the state of Illinois was named Nauvoo. It was founded by Joseph Smith. Who was Joseph Smith? Lane.
The prophet for the Mormons.
That's correct. Bonus question for Houma. The first Ferris wheel was built in Chicago in 1893. It had 36 gondolas, and each gondola could carry 60 riders. Let's do some Ferris wheel math based on that. How many riders could the first Ferris wheel carry? It's a bonus for your team.
1,900. 1,920.
That's incorrect. LCO?
$1,920.
No, 2,160. Houma, it's the first. If the first Ferris wheel had a radius of 38 meters, what would its diameter be? Answer?
No answer.
LCO?
Meters.
64.
No, 76 meters. Houma, if it were only 3/4 full, how many riders would it contain? Answer the cat.
620.
That's incorrect. LCO? Answer?
1,216.
No, 1,620. No points for that. We'll go to a 2-point toss-up. The basic difference between a rocket engine and a jet engine is that a jet engine needs what substance to burn its fuel? Silas?
Oxygen?
That's correct. Bonus for LCO. Answer these questions about the digestive process of the human body. What glands produce and secrete a fluid that lubricates the mouth and helps us swallow the chewed food?
Saliva.
That's incorrect. Houma? Answer?
Pituitary.
No, the salivary glands. I asked for the gland. LCO, to what organ does the food go when it leaves the stomach?
Small intestine.
That's correct. What organ produces bile that helps to break down fats during digestion?
Liver.
That's correct. 4 points for LCO. We'll go to a 2-point toss-up. If you catch the bus at 7:15 and it takes you 25 minutes to get to school, what time would it arrive?
7:40.
That's correct. Let's let a call on you, please. Bonus for LCO. With the depletion of fossil fuel supplies, we must consider reliable alternatives that can be used to supplement or replace the fossil fuels. Tell the following types of alternative energy. Geysers and hot springs are examples of sources of this type of energy.
Thermal.
No, sorry. Houma?
Kinetic.
No, geothermal. Geothermal. LCO, power plants which produce this type of energy often release radioactive waste as a hazardous byproduct. Bonus for your team.
Nuclear.
That's correct. This type of energy is created when water flows through a dam and a turbine.
Hydro.
More information.
Hydroelectric.
That's correct. You got 2 right for 4 points. And that is the end of the round. Let's take a welcome back to South Louisiana Quiz Bowl. Here's a new player coming into the game for Larose-Cut.
I'm Spencer Nguyen. I'm in 8th grade, and outside of Quiz Bowl, I do band.
All right, welcome to the game. LCO leading Houma as we continue. Here are some 2-point toss-ups for you. What is the silent letter found in the word, Brennan?
Q.
That's incorrect. Found in the word autumn. Spencer?
N.
That's right. What is the most popular foreign language taught in Russian, Silas?
Mandarin.
Incorrect. Russian schools. Layden?
Spanish.
No, it's English. In Greek and Roman mythology, Persephone, who had wreathed her head in red and white lilies, was captured by Pluto and Silas?
Hades.
Incorrect. And carried off in his chariot. Some of the lilies fell and turned bright yellow. What do we call these flowers that bloom in the spring? Layden?
Dandelions.
No, the daffodils. In a cavern in a canyon excavating for a mine dwelt a miner 49er and his daughter, who? John Ryan.
Sarah.
Incorrect. Hold on. Layden.
Caroline.
No, Clementine. It was part of the Spanish South American Empire in 1810. It is the 2nd largest and 2nd most populous country in South America. What, Preston?
Brazil.
That's incorrect. Layden.
Argentina.
It's Argentina. What is the greatest common factor of 30 and 42? 30 and 42.
6.
Silas. That's correct. The average depth of the ocean at the outer edge of the continental shelf is 100 fathoms. How many feet is that? John Ryan?
4,000.
That's incorrect. Houma?
No answer.
Anyone? Fathom is 6 feet, 600 feet. That is the end of the round. All right, Larose-Cut still in the lead as we go to our 60-second rounds. Houma, you get first choice of categories. You have mineral, Dixie, language, or Irish.
Minerals.
Mineral, okay. 60 on the clock. Good luck. One of the 4 main mineral characteristics, it can be metallic or non-metallic.
Pass.
Found in yellow nuggets, grain, and flakes, this mineral does not tarnish or cleave and has a hardness of 2.5 to 3.
Gold.
That's right. Identify either of the 2 primary commercial ores of iron.
Steel.
That's incorrect. Which of the 3 basic classes of rocks is the most common on the Earth's surface?
Sedimentary.
That's right. Which of the 3 main types of rock is formed when molten magma cools?
Igneous.
That's right. The characteristic feature of this major type of rock is that its mineral composition changes without the rock itself melting.
Pumice.
Incorrect. Minerals always exhibit what basic kind of structure?
Crystal.
That's right. What precious metal is most often extracted from argentite ore?
Diamond.
Sorry, no. The absence of what? You have an answer on that last one?
Carbon.
No, sorry. You got 4 right for 8 points. To give the others to LCO. One of the 4 main mineral characteristics, it can be metallic or non-metallic. Answer?
Silver.
No, luster. Identify either of the 2 primary commercial ores of iron. Answer?
Nickel.
No, hematite or magnetite. The characteristic feature of this major type of rock is that its mineral composition changes without the rock itself melting.
Metamorphic.
That's right. What precious metal is most often extracted from argentite ore?
Ruby.
No, silver. The absence of what? That's as far as I got.
Gold.
No, we were going to be looking for oxygen on that. You got 1 right for 2 points, and LCO, your turn to choose now. Dixie, Language or Irish?
Language.
Language, okay. Have 60 on the clock. Good luck. Ancient Egyptian picture writing is known as?
Hieroglyphs.
Yes, this is the first letter of the Greek alphabet.
Alpha.
That's right. This is the universal language of the Catholic Church.
Latin.
Correct. This language is spoken by the largest number of people.
Mandarin.
That's right. The most commonly used English word is?
The.
Correct. These seagoing traders are credited with transforming pictorial symbols into alphabetic symbols.
Merchants.
Incorrect. What is the study of language called?
Linguistics.
That's right. This was the last letter to become part of our alphabet.
Z.
No, sorry. What is the Morse code for the letter A?
Dash dot. Dash dot.
That's incorrect. You got 6 right for 12 points. Give the others to Houma. These seagoing traders are credited with transforming pictorial symbols into alphabetic symbols.
Pass.
That's the Phoenicians. This was the last letter to become part of our alphabet.
Y.
No, J. What is the Morse code for the letter A?
Dash dash dot.
No, dot dash. No points for that. And that is the end of the round. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more South Louisiana Quiz Bowl. South Louisiana Quiz Bowl Online is made possible by the generous support of these sponsors. MC Bank, sharing the hometown spirit since 1955. Lapco Manufacturing, modern industrial workwear. Barker Honda, Martin Luther King Boulevard in Houma. It's better at Barker. Houma Paint and Industrial Supply, proud supporter of education in the Bayou region. DHD Offshore Services, personnel for inshore and offshore projects. DHD, a workforce that soars. Welcome back to South Louisiana Quiz Bowl. Here's a new player coming into the game for Larose-Cut off.
I'm Charlie Coleman, and besides Quiz Bowl, I'm in band and beta club.
All right, welcome to the game. LCO leading Houma. Last round is 2-point toss-ups. Good luck. Who claimed the area around the Mississippi River for Silas?
LaSalle?
That's right. Nuremberg was the European city in which the 1945 war trials took place. Name any 3 of the 4 nations that brought charges against Germany. Lane.
United States.
2 more.
France and England.
That's correct. Russia was the 3rd. Rudyard Kipling's most famous book were chiefly about one country. Which one? John Ryan.
England.
Incorrect. Houma, ladies.
Spain.
No, India. A president or governor may fail to take any action on a bill that has been passed by Congress or the legislature within 10 days after adjournment. This action or non-action is called what? Layden.
Veto.
More specific. Sorry, no. LCO, John Ryan.
Veto and act.
No, it's a pocket veto. What intriguing puzzle named after its Hungarian designer was the best-selling toy of Preston?
Rubik's Cube?
That's correct. What common household object called in French réveillé matin is the first thing many people hear in the morning? John Ryan.
Good morning.
No, sorry. Layden.
Clock.
More specific.
Stopwatch.
No, an alarm clock. His baby fell ill and was placed on a diet of strained peas, and that's how he began the mass marketing of baby. Lane?
Gerber.
Mr. Gerber it was. This grooming item was first marketed in 1931 by the Schick Company. What is the name of this product that is brought today by men and women? John Ryan?
Hairbrush.
Incorrect. Brennan?
Hair comb.
No, an electric razor. Scientists created a crossbreed of 2 entirely different species, a goat and a sheep. What did they, John Ryan?
Lamb.
Incorrect. What did they call this animal? Lane?
Mule.
No, they called it a geep. This 19th century scientist was one of the founders of organic chemistry and developed a method of spectral analysis still used today. He invented the filter pump, the grease spot photometer, and the ice calorimeter. But he's most famous for his work in developing a gas burner which bears his name. John Ryan?
Alexander Burner.
That's incorrect. Identify Layden.
Benjamin Franklin.
No, Robert Bunsen. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. What is the sixth closest? Brennan.
Saturn.
That's right. What are Tagalogs, do-si-dos, medallions, Samoas, trefoils, and thin mints? John Ryan.
Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, yeah. Since World War II, more countries have gained their freedom where than in any other country in the more countries have gained their freedom where than in any other continent in the world. Lane.
South America.
That's incorrect. LCO. John Ryan.
America.
No, Africa. Two precious jewels are exactly the same stone except for color. They're both forms of corundum, which is an aluminum oxide. John Ryan?
Sapphire.
Incorrect. One of them is the blue gem, the sapphire. The other, okay,
Ruby.
the red gem is the ruby. That's right. Originally, they were called dagobahs and were simple caskets to preserve the relics of Buddhist saints. Later, the term was applied to the monuments containing the caskets. Silas.
Pyramid.
That's incorrect. They've since grown to enormous size with many tiers and terraces. Name these great buildings found in the Buddhist regions of the Far East. Layden.
Shrines.
No, pagodas. Of what substance was Snow White's coffin made? John Ryan.
Glass.
It was glass. And that is the end of the game. Larose-Cut is the first semifinalist of the junior high tournament with their win today. Houma goes over to the elimination bracket. You'll see both these teams again in a few weeks. We will be back next week with more South Louisiana Quiz Bowl. Hope you join us. Good night.